How do you start your morning? The Reverend Jim Jones liked to start his Sunday mornings healing the sick. You know, by screaming and punching the illness away, like this.
In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
But then he decided that healing was a hassle, and it's easier just to murder your congregation instead. All 918 of them.
We've had as much of this world as you're going to get. Let's just be done with it. Let's be done with the agony of it.
You know, there's a lot of people to look up to. Scientists, doctors, generals, explorers, athletes, musicians, and sure, preachers too.
You can be rich, but if you're without God, what do you have?
But why would you want to follow the preacher who punishes sinners by pulling their pants down in front of the congregation and whipping their private parts with a rubber hose? You know what I mean? Like, whatever happened to just saying 10 Hail Marys and getting on with your day? Now I have to let Jim Jones go to war on my privates with a fire hose?
Ordinarily, I'd whip your nuts with a car antenna for that kind of attitude.
How is that not a red flag? I get it if you left the Westboro Baptist Church because Fred Phelps just didn't hate gay people enough or something.
Gospel preacher!
But for the average person, how do you fall for this shit? Maybe it had something to do with all the practice Jones had as a kid? Preaching, not battering dicks like Rocky on a speed bag. Yeah, while other kids were busy playing marbles and pick up sticks or, I don't know, whatever the fuck kids did for fun in the 40s, Jones had other hobbies.
Marriage is horrible and all!
You know, that's a message I could just never get behind.
And the bed undefiled!
But when a 10-year-old with zero life experience screams it into your face like that,
The whoremongers!
it really makes you think.
You go to hell!
Duffy Strode, you fucking lunatic.
Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words!
It's like his parents were raising him to take over Jim Jones's legacy.
I think he's a Pharisee.
If that kid ever invites you to go to the jungle, don't go.
Strode Town, coming soon to a jungle near you.
Strode Town? I don't know, it doesn't have the same ring to it. Anyways, Jones preached abstinence until marriage too, but mostly he just used the pulpit to boast about fucking hordes of women. Pro tip. If your pastor preaches thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife while simultaneously squeezing your wife's boobs, you should have some questions.
Sorry he fucked my wife.
And who the fuck delivers a sermon wearing dark-tinted aviators anyway? They say the eyes are the gateway to the soul, so naturally Jim Jones had to keep them covered at all times. Oh, and on that note, someone needs to tell Kenneth Copeland to take a page out of Jimmy's book.
And don't you ever say I did.
Dude, cover your fucking eyes, you fucking demon!
You shall not pass!
Look at this guy's face! I'd die of dehydration before I'd accept a glass of Kool-Aid from him.
Oh, yeah.
If you're unsure about whether this guy's the spawn of Satan, just take a quick scroll through the YouTube comments.
You get off this nation! I demand judgment on you! I demand!
But credit is where credit's due, man.
COVID-19!
The guy was more effective than social distancing, masks, and vaccines combined.
I blow the wind of God!
The wind of God
On you.
on you.
You are destroyed forever. And you'll never be back.
If you don't want to wake up bankrupt, stay the fuck away from guys like this. Unless, of course, they're selling miracle spring water.
Do you need a miracle?
Then it's probably safe to assume they have good intentions.
Real people with real needs are receiving real life-changing miracles when they use the miracle spring water.
This faith tool will help you to see liberation from the bondage of death.
Guy must have poured a bottle or two on his own head to get that natural black hair look.
Get
this spring water, drink the spring water, or whatever you need to do with it. It really works.
I am legit gonna order this and do a follow-up episode.
And when you told me to anoint my checkbook yesterday, I received a letter for over $45,000 that my second mortgage was paid off.
Maybe I'll pour it on the cereal for another episode, see if I can't get this channel to grow.
Release your faith now by calling for your free packet of Miracle Spring Water.
Wait, hold on, it's free?
It's free. I want to send it to you. No obligation. Call me now.
There's gotta be a catch somewhere. Let's see, what are people saying down in the comments? Whatever, sounds legit to me. 1 million subs, here I come.
Now, back to our program.
This guy was such a classic bullshitter. His sermons were a combination of Marxism, prophecy, sexual abuse, and social justice. Yeah, he convinced his followers to hand over their paychecks, social security checks, pocket change, wives, you name it, all over to him. The goal? To build a communist utopia far from the prying eyes of the capitalist American government who wanted to prosecute him for sex crimes. And believe it or not, his congregation followed him. All the way to Jonestown, located deep in the jungles of Guyana. Now, you know you're living the true communist dream when the first thing you have to do upon arrival is fork over your passport. But that's not a good enough reason to abandon ship. This is Jonestown we're talking about. It's named after the big man himself, so you know it's gotta be good. Close your eyes and imagine people of all races and ethnicities smiling, working, and playing together while a madman, fucked out of his tree on a cocktail of narcotics, rambles and shouts at you through a microphone from dusk till dawn. Why the fuck would anyone ever want to leave?
Everybody's happy down here. You can see that that's an obvious fact.
Jonestown had everything you could ever want. All you had to do was ask.
Cheddar cheese, cans of various syrups, old column of mattresses, chicken noodles. Here are the bleaches, breakfast cereals, cream of wheat, large supplies of milk, dry milk.
Guns, ammo, cyanide, and enough Kool-Aid for every man, woman, and child.
Oh, yeah!
Who needs merit in free market capitalism when a lunatic can rule over you and threaten to poison you, your children, and his roughly 900 followers if anyone dares to leave? And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened.
Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid, here comes Kool-Aid, I'm gonna save the day.
Brand soft drink mix.
Oh yeah!
You ever heard the saying, don't drink the Kool-Aid? Yeah, that saying wasn't coined because Kool-Aid accidentally released a bad batch and wound up poisoning over 900 men, women, and children. No, that's what the Reverend Jim Jones did when he spiked it with cyanide and force-fed it to his followers. But what was Jim supposed to do? A congressman and news team from California came to investigate rumors that people were being held against their will at Jonestown. Obviously, this wasn't the case, but Jim needed to force-feed them acceptable responses at gunpoint just to make sure.
I'm very glad to be here. This is a congressional inquiry. I think that all of you know that I'm here to find out more about questions that have been raised about your operation here. But I can tell you right now that from the few conversations I've had with some of the folks here already this evening, that whatever the comments are, there are some people here who believe that this is the best thing that ever happened in their whole life.
Communism. Anyway, things were going great at first. The congressmen and news team were treated to live music from the Jonestown band. Can you imagine the amount of fake smiling and eye shifting from the band that must have been going on that night? Just keep smiling and playing like nothing's wrong, and maybe Jim will let us go home to our families. And everything was going great until one of Jones's captives slipped a member of the news team a note. You know, like this.
Get me out of here!
Last night, someone came and passed me this note.
Well, that's who we're talking about. He wants to leave his son here. If Jonestown's such a bad place, why does he want to leave his son here?
Doesn't it concern you, though, that this man, for whatever reason, And what are the people in your group?
People play games, friend. They lie. What can I do about lies? Are you people going to leave us? I just beg you, please leave us. Bill, we will bother nobody. Anybody wants to get out of here can get out of here. We have no problem about getting out of here. They come and go all the time. I don't know what kind of game. People like publicity. Some people do. I don't.
The next morning, Jim sent his goons to ambush and kill the congressman, the news team, and a handful of defectors who had the courage to speak against him. Talk about paradise lost. Following the murders, Jim Jones ordered over 900 of his followers to partake in revolutionary suicide. Anyone who hesitated was forced at gunpoint to drink or inject the cyanide-laced cocktail. And that, my friends, is how the saying, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," was coined. But it wasn't even Kool-Aid. It was Flavor-Aid? The fuck? I've never even heard of Flavor-Aid. I bet you any money that there was some Flavor-Aid execs out there, they could never admit it, a couple of execs that were pissed off that Kool-Aid got the credit, so to speak. I mean, you can't pay for that kind of marketing, brand recognition. Maybe we'd all be drinking Flavor-Aid if they got the credit for Jonestown and the expression was named after them. Who knows? If things worked out differently, we might all be watching commercials of this giant fucking straw thing, bursting through walls and shouting, "Oh yeah." So what do you think? Should Duffy Strode come out of retirement and open his own commune deep in the jungles of Guyana?
Thou shalt not take the name!
Should screaming and punching be considered valid treatments for cancer? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to murder that subscribe button and hit that notification bell because I've got new killer content dropping all the time. And if you just can't get enough, you can head over and follow on Instagram and even TikTok for even more killer content.